All right, all right, all right, all right, all right.
Here we go.
Tony's big workout.
Yeah, you got to get amped for the show. You know what I mean? I was running in place before this.
Hands over your head. Show us some
Okay.
energy. Get some energy. Energy. Can't be low energy with your hands over your head.
Is that true?
No.
I feel more tired because all of my energy is going to holding these meat hooks.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hey Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
I'm Tony.
And this is the show that dares talk about the movies of 2019 with a venomous tongue.
We are dangerous.
So each week we talk about a movie from 2019.
Nope, not each week. Just the weeks that Dan picks.
Some weeks we talk about a movie from 2019. This week I picked a movie, and it's a movie called Replicas with Keanu Reeves and the guy from Thomas Middleditch, the guy from Silicon Valley, and
we canceled him, right?
I think we canceled him.
I'm not sure. He used to do improv, and maybe he still does, with the good guy that plays Sonic. Shit. Ben Schwartz. They had like Middleditch and Schwartz or something like that.
Yes, they had like a show. I watched a few minutes of it, and I turned it off.
I didn't. You did more than I did. I just knew that it existed. I just wanted to bring it up. I think we canceled him for something, though.
Yeah, I think he was very haughty. Like very
with that face.
Yeah,
huh.
Well, I don't.
It's always the weird looking ones, you know.
I think he thought he was the shit.
That's again weird to me, but good. Hey, good. Self confidence is important, but don't take it too far. You know what I mean?
This is
nice balance.
This is speculation and based on nothing, just faulty memories. I think he had lots of women, and there was issues.
He had lots of women. We live in a weird world, Dan. But listen. To each their own. Bad him. Whatever he did, I canceled him too.
And if he did do it, then you rock,
dude.
I
apologize. I'm sorry that I started this rumor about you that it's going to catch like wildfire.
So Replicas 2019 from the guy that wrote The Day After Tomorrow, and then he made this movie, and then
no way.
I think they kicked him out of Hollywood.
Oh, first of all, I just watched The Day After Tomorrow like 2 weeks ago. It's a great film. I love that movie.
It's not a great film.
It's a good disaster movie. It's not a great disaster movie, but it's good. It totally serves. If you are in a disaster kick, it fits right in with your rewatch.
Okay. Now, did it have a lot of really good writing?
No, you don't watch it for the writing. You watch it for the cool storm. It's a storm. It's coming in through New York. It's freezing everything, and then you're in the eye of the storm. I don't remember all of it, but Jake Gyllenhaal in a library burning books. I think we've all been there.
And there was wolves. They got chased by wolves.
Yeah, there were wolves. Yeah.
Wolves. Yeah.
And water somewhere. I remember water. So lots of good stuff in there.
Then the pole shifts, and then everything just gets better.
And then you're fine. Yeah, if you made it through, you're fine. That's how storms work, Dan.
So it's the guy that wrote that movie, and this movie tackles a lot of big themes.
I think I watched the wrong movie, Dan. I blew it. Shoot, first week.
This movie does not tackle themes. People in other reviews are like, there's lots of plot holes. And it's not that there's plot holes. There's just a lot of things that happen that make no sense, which I think is different than plot holes.
I think there's both. I'm just going to posit that I think there's a mixture of both of those things. This movie's ridiculous. Also, my biggest problem, it has a million problems. It's a terrible movie. The biggest problem for me is it doesn't take a stance.
It's not about anything.
It's not about anything. There are so many moral questions in this movie, and they're just like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. We're fine. So weird.
You died. I brought you back to life. Okay.
Hey, man, thanks. That's really nice of you. Zero consequences. It's incredible.
Like nobody ever even gets mad at anybody. Everybody's just like, I guess so.
There's like such a brief moment where she's like, "You didn't bring one of our daughters back." I'm upset. Oh, never mind. I'm over it. What is happening right now?
Yeah, there's some moral quandaries that they just were like,
God, I love it.
Isn't this what the movie should be about? The moral quandaries of all this?
Yes. That's all. And then I thought that's where they were going. And I kept giving it the benefit of the doubt. I kept doing it. And then the third act turns into like a shitty action movie. And I was like, no,
barely.
Nope, you're out. You're out of here.
It was pretty classic. There was some,
spoiler alert, I love this movie. This movie is a 10 out of 10 for me. I laughed so hard.
Oh, yes. As a comedy, sure. Why not?
Why not?
So, boom, we're taking a helicopter. We're heading to Puerto Rico. There's the secret lab.
Dan, you have to stop real quickly.
Isn't that the first thing that happens?
This is the first thing that happens. A, quote, helicopter, end quote, flies over the ocean. And it is the fakest looking helicopter I've seen in a long, long time. And I was like, uh-oh, they can't even afford to get a real helicopter in the movie? We are in for a world of hurt in a sci-fi movie that can't afford a helicopter.
They just buy a plug-in. I don't know. Who cares?
That's exactly what they did. Buy a plugin.
See, I don't even know what a plugin is, but I know.
It's 100%. Yeah, VFX plugin. Boop boop. Just drop it in. Helicopters moving. We're good. Let's go.
Let's keep it moving.
We're
wasting time talking about the big fake helicopter. So we got the secret lab. We got Keanu Reeves, whose name is William.
You didn't test me. Sometimes I knew his name. I know. You know what? Before we begin, I know William.
Got it.
I know Ed.
That's all you have to know. That's all there is to know.
And Zoe.
Oh, Zoe. You know Zoe. But the wife's name, his other two kids. Mom.
Yeah.
I think they call her Mom.
Yeah, I know her name in real life. Does that count for anything?
Who is she?
That's Alice Eve.
Yeah, who is she?
I don't know. She's done some stuff. I think She's Out of My League with Jay Baruchel. Was she in that?
Oh,
I feel like she also did. I think spoiler alert, I think she marries Vince in Entourage. And, she's around. She's kind
of super attractive, but also seems like she's like CGI.
Okay, so I thought, listen, it was weird because pre her being a replica, shouldn't she be normal? The whole movie, I was like, I think she's a cyborg. I think that's the twist, is that she never really died because she was just a machine the whole time, and he could but that didn't happen, Dan.
That would be pretty funny, wouldn't it? If they died and then but they were really just all robots.
They were all robots anyhow, and he's like, once again. But no, she's just really bad in this movie.
She just looks really, I don't know, she looks weird. She looks weird because she looks too real. It's weird.
But she looks too real. That's the sign of a good robot. They look too real. So, She's Out of My League. I just want to tell everyone that I was right. And also Star Trek Into Darkness. So.
Oh, well, just make sure and tell everybody when you're right, Tony, because they're going to all just...
I will never bring it up when I'm wrong.
They're going to all just assume you're wrong. So he works at Bio 9. And he's sad. Mm-hmm. They're bringing in a body. Here comes Thomas Middleditch. He's Edward. So William, Willie, Bill.
Yeah, we use a lot of different names for him.
They move. They do it all. Everybody. They do it all. No understand. Usually you set it down, but in real life we all have different names we call people.
Sure.
But in movies you usually just pick one. Because you don't want to confuse but this one, Ed,
right? Because if I'm using
Will,
three
William,
different names for everybody, you're never gonna know who we're talking to.
Yeah. So basically, they bring in a guy who was a soldier. Is he dead or is he almost dead? I think he's dead.
I mean, he said, "What is the direct quote?" He said,
viable
this
cortex.
man is dead. Quote unquote, this man is dead. That's what Keanu Reeves says when he starts his thing. He's like, this man is dead, and we're going to send things into his brain. That's how he starts his speech. So he says this man is dead.
So they're taking a dead person who still has a viable cortex.
Now, Dan, how long can a brain operate without oxygen? I thought there was like a rule on that.
I asked Shannon about it, and I think as soon as you die, the electrical activity in your brain starts going boo 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 boo. There some functions in your life, your body that keep on going for a little while, sure, but I think that the brain, all that electricity in there, once there's no blood pumping and
that's the thing, right? So here, according to medlineplus.gov, which has to be a good website.
It's got to be real.
Says permanent brain damage begins after 4 minutes without oxygen.
4 minutes.
And death can occur as soon as 6 minutes.
Okay, so you would really want to start this thing you'd want to, if you were going to drain the brain out of a guy, you'd want to do it pretty damn quick.
Which is going to come up later too. There's no way that this movie doesn't work. Falls apart immediately. Turns out
this movie, what it does, it just takes absurd premise after absurd premise after absurd premise, and just like we're just doing them all, and then we're not going to give you anything for. It's like you said. It's exactly. That's the glory of science fiction is you can set up these absurd worlds where there are clones and there you can transfer brain, mental into a mind into another mind, et cetera, et cetera. You do all these things, but then we examine the moral quandaries of doing these things. That's the whole idea.
You have to deal with it. You have to deal with Oh man, so good.
And it's funny. I took a science fiction class, and one of the things I could read in there is one of the teacher's stories, and it was about bringing people back from the dead,
Sure.
And so then when I was writing one of my stories, I made a thing where I made a whole big joke about how you get insurance to have them not bring you back.
Okay.
Because that's the thing. It's like, some people are going to be like, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
And those are questions you get to deal with in science fiction. This movie just keeps on making the craziest assertions of what can occur, and then never deals with any of the consequences.
Never deals with it, and just wants you to accept that as normal. It's not like. Also, when they do these things, no one's all that excited. No. They're just like, yeah, okay, cool. So we did that. Now let's move on to this next thing. Yes. This is bizarre. I love it so much.
So basically what he's doing is he's stabbing a needle through an eyeball, and then he's basically sucking your, all of your memories and everything out of you and putting it on a hard drive. And
how do you do that with a needle? I don't understand. I don't understand the science at all. I love it so much.
They just, and that's the other thing this movie does is it's like, well, okay, we got to have something harsh to do this, and that's a needle through the eye.
It's a needle, and they do the effects pretty well for a low budget movie.
Yeah,
there's a couple of eye stabs that freak me out a little.
An eye stab is a very intense thing.
It's no good. I can't even I can't touch my eyes. I don't know how because you have glasses. But have you ever done contacts?
Yeah, of course. Can't touch your eyes when you have glasses.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't even do eye drops.
Can't do eye drops?
No, they freak me out, Dan.
See,
you have to physically hold my eye open like this to even get the eye drops in.
See, at some point, Tony, you're going to have to grow up.
Listen, we've passed that marker about 18 years ago.
You're going to find as you get older and you have to go to Quest Diagnostics and get your blood taken. If you don't like needles, you're going to have to get over it because they're going to just stick needles into you. Nope.
Here's what I'm going to do instead. Just slice my wrist and I'll drain it into a goblet for you.
Yeah.
Well, drink it up.
You're going to have to grow up. It's going to be funny.
Yeah,
I'll be there laughing.
What you think, Dan Goodsell. Joke's on you. I'll die before I grow up.
That is true. So it takes them 30 seconds to map this guy's mind. 30 seconds. Life
instantaneous.
This brain that's so full of just absurd things. I mean, just think about all the absurd things you know. Just, so many absurd things.
Thank you, Dan. I do.
30 seconds.
I know a lot of stuff. Well, to be fair, his brain probably wasn't that good. You know what I mean?
He's kind of adult. Bring us some really dumb soldiers only.
We want easy tests to begin with. We can get smarter people later.
So they do that, and then what does Keanu do? He begins to work in VR.
What? So I don't even understand. He puts on a weird headset, his virtual reality headset, and then he minority reports all over the place. But what is he even doing?
He's getting everything ready for the transfer.
Is he inside the brain? Like, is the brain around him and he's playing with synapse? Like, what's he even doing? It just kind of looks like a computer screen.
He's doing exciting stuff. It's very exciting.
It's not that exciting. I don't know.
Instead of going like this, he's going like this.
He's just waving his arms around, saying random words. Man, that would be a fun day on set. I'll tell you that.
So then what they do is they have a robot. So in addition to being able to map the brain, they have a perfect human robot that has everything, that has a brain in it that you can then transfer this. And then the transferred brain into that is going to then be able to manipulate a human-type body.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly 100%.
What the fuck? So okay, this is number
but
two.
Nobody's excited about it.
No.
This is mundane in this world. That's what's great about it.
So they put the guy in there, and then he's like, Sergeant Kelly, can you hear me? And he's all like, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And he starts peeling back his face, and then he starts killing people.
Tears his body apart. And then what does Keanu do?
Hold on, we got to say one more thing.
Okay.
Robot has the same voice as the dead guy.
Yeah, it takes the voice. So obviously it's not your vocal cords that do that, Dan. It's your brain. It's your brain that decides what your voice sounds like, not your muscles in your throat whatsoever.
I sound like this because of my brain.
Because of your brain, man. You got to get a better brain, Dan.
What does Keanu do, Tony?
He just unplugs the guy. I love this because it doesn't even make any sense to me, Dan. Let me ask you a question, right?
So dumb.
So we've got an AI body, a computer robot guy, and he's alive.
Yeah.
Does he have to stay plugged in the whole time then?
I don't know. Well, no,
he has no power source internally?
Well, first of all, well, yeah, I mean, no, of course he doesn't. No, he unplugging him shouldn't do anything because the robot later on just walks around and has no problems.
Right, he's fine. When he's Keanu, he's totally cool to walk around, but this guy needs to be in the chair at all times.
I mean, truthfully, you would have a kill switch because anything,
100%,
especially since they've done this before. This isn't the first time.
Hundreds. I feel like we're on hundreds by now, aren't we?
342. 345, sorry.
Which I have to believe means we've at least done half of those as real trials, right? Sure. I don't know.
We've put people through this before and it hasn't worked. But you have a kill switch. Like any real missile that they launch into the air, they have a abort switch. It just blows it up because they don't want it coming down on some city. They don't want the scientists killed by a robot. More importantly, why do you give him full range of movement? Just, you're able to, you don't have to give him everything.
Nope.
Give him like one arm.
Head.
Hi.
Move your fingers for me.
Yeah.
Squeeze. Yeah. Start basics.
Yeah. No, you have a rampaging robot instantaneously that only Keanu can sneak up behind and pull out the giant power cord.
Pull the plug and then he's dead. But here, okay, question number 2. When you power him back up, are you saying that his head is erased now? Just because you unplugged him? Anytime this guy loses power, he gets wiped? That's not a good existence.
Or if he's, it's like you have this guy on a hard drive, right? Try it again. That's going to be a theme throughout this whole movie, Dan. Try it again is going to be a theme that comes up over and over again because they are weird with that. Now, let me ask you a question, Dan. This is a great moment to have a little philosophical debate that the movie just decides not to deal with. Sure, let's do.
But I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Let's do some science fiction.
Okay, so you're you, right?
Absolutely.
And like Keanu's going to do later, you map your own brain.
Yeah.
Okay, and you send it to this AI bot.
Sure.
Okay. What is it that makes you two different? Because so Alice Eve brings it up and she's like, you're forgetting about the soul, which is, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I don't know if I believe in a soul per se, right? But disregarding that, it is a separate entity, right? So like we would have the same memories up to that point, but then starting at the point that we transfer, we have completely different experiences, and that's not me. Like, you aren't in the robot. It's a copy of you that thinks it's you.
Yes.
So what is it? What is it? The self of it all? What is that, Dan? What is that?
I mean, you're of 2 points of view, right? You either believe that there's a soul, and you believe that thing is not you and is a soulless thing and is missing some important component, or if you're like me, you think it's another Dan Goodsell. You've created perfection twice, right? Well, it's even more perfect because it's in a robot body, right? So it's
going to live forever.
It's going to live forever. So it's like the greatest thing ever. You've made the greatest thing ever. Me forever.
The world has been blessed with Eternate Dan.
But more importantly,
that's great.
Eternadan then makes Eternadan 2 and Eternadan 3. We just keep
you're going to create an army of your. This is why we can't make AI people, because they're going to make an army of themselves.
Yes, of course.
You are the reason, Dan. You're the reason why we can't play with AI.
Too dangerous. But it's not too AI. Dangerous. This isn't AI. This is thought transfer.
That's true.
Transfer.
Yeah,
this
it's like cloning, and so anyhow, we're going to have some fun.
Huge question mark that, they haven't done it all,
And and what I love is they just throw in that one line by Alice Eve. She's like, well, you're forgetting the soul. That's why the transfer doesn't work. And then we never, ever go back to that. Well, never once.
And I mean, I'm not a Stephen King person, but I talked to Shannon a little bit about Pet Sematary, and she's like, yeah, it's all about grief and like the dangers of when you bring something back, it's not going to be the same thing. And you're like, initially this movie, you're like, oh, this is what it's about. This is,
and then it's not.
They give us some things that say this could be what it's about. Then they're like,
nope, everybody's fine.
Everybody's fine. They just.
Sometimes dead is better. That's my Pet Cemetery impression. Thank you very much, everybody.
There it is. I don't know. So then the big boss comes in there and he's like, "Mother failure, good job, dumb."
That's actually exactly his whole stance throughout the whole movie. He's just like a sarcastic, judgmental bitch.
You're just like, hold on a second. He just transferred the mind and the voice of the dude into the robot, and then the robot moved around. In any scientific place, in any place in the world, this would be
the biggest breakthrough ever.
This is literally the biggest breakthrough ever. This movie has the robot is the biggest breakthrough ever. The transference, even if it failed, biggest breakthrough ever. Because that means
it didn't totally fail.
No, not even close.
It worked. It just doesn't sit. It's like they say, organ donors. Sometimes it rejects it, right? Like it worked, guys. This is the craziest thing that's ever happened on planet Earth. And they're all like, "Man, boy, you suck, man. You're no good at this. Get out of here."
We're throwing this project in the toilet because we just wasted all that money. You're like, these guys would be like, "You're the biggest brilliant man that's ever existed. We will do anything to make you happy."
You're gonna figure it out.
They would do anything to make this guy happy because this guy he's broken life or death, which is insane.
He is playing God, and we never talk about it.
And that's the thing, Frankenstein, the book, we still talk about that book. Yep. All of us have not read that book. I've not read that. Maybe you might have actually read it.
I have not read it. I need to. I really do.
But
I know.
It's about playing God. It's about life and death. And that is why that book has endured, because it has set up a thing where it's like there's a dead person and now there's a Frankenstein monster walking around. It's the biggest. And and what is that? That's a moral story, and it talks about all that stuff.
Because that's what it's all about. Yeah.
That's your thing.
It's all about the humanity of it, and they just I just love it because when it's happening, I'm like, why aren't people more excited? But then they one up it each time. The next 5 minutes, they do something even crazier, and this is great cinema. Everybody should see this movie.
So he's like, I moved my family here. So then he goes home, and she's got a young kid, Zoe. She's got a middle son who has no name, a middle daughter who has no name, and
oh boy,
Eve, what's her face?
Yeah, I didn't catch her name. That's weird.
No, I never caught her name.
Yeah.
And they this when the wife sort of like, he says we did it, and she's all like, but what about the soul and right and wrong and electrochemical versus the soul? Deal with it again.
Dan, let me ask you a quick question, right? Because spoiler alert, pretty soon he's going to bring her back with the same technology. Why doesn't this come up again? Why doesn't she have some sort of internal struggle about what she is? I don't understand. You set it up in the first 6 minutes where she is like, oh, it's not real. There's a soul. There's this and that. Why doesn't she have a moment where she's like, oh my God, I am the soulless demon?
It's interesting. I was watching a thing where Bill Hader talked about Akira Kurosawa.
Okay.
And there's like one of his movies, like the villain guy, he has a gun, and then the whole sort of first act is him losing that gun, and then second act's him being untethered because he doesn't have the gun. Right?
Interesting.
Because he needs to have his gun to perform whatever, nefarious since he has to perform. One of the guys that was working on the script, like the old guy, he said, let's just start with him not having the gun. Then we're in it.
Sure.
And that's what this movie needed to start with. Shit going down, like the wife waking up.
Sure. Yeah.
But we just have so much setup of stuff we're not interested in.
Well, I don't know if I'm not interested in it. It just doesn't make any sense. I think you're right. If we skip all the science so I don't have to watch it happen and think to myself, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
I think I would buy it more. If she just woke up and he's like, yeah, I brought you back to life. I'd be like, okay, that's fucking weird, but I don't think about it too much because they're not showing it to me.
Yeah.
But this is we have 45 minutes before he even brings him back to life. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, at least. So they go on a trip. There's a storm. They avoid running into one truck, and then a tree falls down. The wife is impaled, so the kid's in back, watch his mom dies. Then he goes over the side, and then everyone dies. And they're all dead.
Okay. So I have a couple things then. First of all, the tree branch that falls and kills Alice Eve.
Yeah.
Why can we hear it falling? I don't know if you've ever been in a car before, Dan, but to get from when a tree branch starts falling and then falls to the right angle, I'm pretty far away in a car. I'm not going to hear the snapping of the tree. It would be a surprise.
Tony.
That's just bad filmmaking because it telegraphs she's going to die. Imagine them driving and all of a sudden it just fucking comes through the windshield. That's a moment.
Yeah.
Like that would be like, holy shit, what just happened? Instead, I'm like, is a tree falling? Hey, there's a tree. Look at that. Killed her. Big deal. Bad filmmaking. That's all that is. Now, here's my other question. He kills his whole family. He shouldn't be driving. Straight up, he should not be driving in this storm as fast as he's driving, right? He kills his whole family. Why don't we deal with that? That should be part of the reason he needs to bring them back so badly, but he never has this weird internal struggle of whether I should do it or not. He's just like, well, I should probably do this. I think, listen, they're dead, but it's not that big of a deal because I can bring them back to life.
Yeah, I mean, that's another path that you easily could go with on this movie is his descent into madness.
Please, yes. Because he should be going crazy.
You go crazy.
For even more reason that we're going to talk about soon. But continue. Okay.
So, boom, he calls up Middleditch. He brings the equipment, and they just...
Apparently in less than 6 minutes. Because I've heard brain death can happen in 6 minutes.
He probably kept them in the water so their bodies would be,
Is the storm still happening when Middleditch arrives?
They do make the line, I think they do the line, storms come and go, like in a flash, because they do. places like that.
I mean,
the storm rolls in and
That's
just this is tropical. Those storms come and then it's like beautiful. He
all
brings
right.
it out there, and then he just puts all their minds on hard drives. Boop, minds on hard drives.
Now, what they don't talk about is how do you make a clone?
Well, what they have, then they talk about, he's like, okay, now I've got to clone them. But also he says to Middleditch, okay, and you have to get rid of the bodies. So in other words,
I mean, that's my favorite.
We're coming to the weirdest things ever. He's like, yeah, I can't deal with getting rid of my people's bodies. You got to do it. And he's like, okay. He's like, that's a big ask, but I'm doing it for you, bro.
But I'll do it because you're my best friend. Dan, let me tell you something.
You got to dig.
I'm not getting rid of your dead bodies.
You got to dig those graves yourself. Keanu has to dig those.
I will do it with you. You know what I mean? Like, I'll help you, but I'm not doing it by myself. That's messed up.
Nope, you're doing it,
You need to feel it because you killed them. You need to feel this. But nope, he just escapes the pain of it. It's just like, I don't want to look at these dead bodies. I want to look at the alive bodies that we're about to make. Can you just put them in a bottle of acid or something for me?
So Middleditch he's got to go get the cloning tanks because this movie
they just have. Now, Dan, what's confusing is the first part of this movie is all about this robot. Yeah. And transferring the mind to that as if that's like this big thing. But then they just casually drop like, oh, yeah, by the way, I also clone things. Yeah. So I'm just going to go get my cloning vats and bring them over?
Bust them out.
I don't. Would you even be worried about this mind transference if you can clone people? Those are two very big projects that are both being very successful at the same time, which is insane.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Just so casual. Because Middleditch is like, well, I've cloned some goats and stuff. I could probably clone people.
Sure.
What do you mean? How can you be that confident? No one has ever cloned a person before in the history of the world. Just because you cloned a couple of animals, you're like, I could definitely tweak my algorithm, which is a word they use way too much in this movie. I'll tweak the algorithm. I could make human work, yeah.
I think you better be careful about saying something like no one has done this before.
Do you think that we've done it?
Of course they've done it. Sure.
To humans?
Sure. Why not?
You're telling me right now.
Yeah.
You're telling me right now there are human clones walking around?
Probably.
No.
Why no?
What happened? You know what? You're actually probably right. Because remember, when were they cloning goats? Was that the 90s?
Yeah.
2000s?
Yeah.
And then have you heard anything since then?
Oh, well, we're not allowed to.
That's what I'm saying. So you're actually probably right. There's probably cloning humans all over the place.
Not all over the place, but I'm sure they've done it. I'm sure they've done it in China, maybe in Russia. I would think so. I mean, why not? Why would you not do it? Why would you not just have a lab doing it? I mean, it's stupid not to be doing it.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, have we figured it out?
Oh, sure. It's nothing.
You know what I mean?
No, I watched this one thing about this guy that had his favorite bull, like a cow bull. And he just kept having it cloned. He's on number 3 or number 4.
I don't even know how to respond to that at this point. I first of all, I don't know if I knew that we were that into the cloning.
Tony, you got to remember, there's nothing complex about this. The science of it,
what?
Cloning? Yeah, cloning is very easy.
That can't be right. No, there's no way that. Listen, I don't know things.
It's incredibly easy.
There's no way that cloning something is incredibly easy. What do you mean? How do I do it?
Very incredible. I mean, you just take the DNA and you soup it together and boom, boom, boom.
Nope. See, the boom, boom, boom's where I'm getting confused.
Yeah, I mean,
let
me rephrase it. They clone animals all the time. So cloning a human just an animal. I mean,
but does it work here? You know what I mean?
I mean, you're going to get another Tony that's pain in the ass, but you're going to get. But if you brought, you're going to have a little kid that's going to look like you. Sure, going to look exactly the same as you.
But it won't be me. That's why we need the first part of the movie. That's what you're telling me. The mind transplant. That's why we needed that.
all a clone is just reproducing the basic genetic material. You have a basic genetic material. You can make that again and then have a woman carry that to term, and then you're going to have a baby that's going to come out, and however you raise that baby, it's going to be however it is.
No, I need it to be exactly me. So I need the mind map. That's okay.
No, you're never going to do the mind map thing. You're never going to be able to do. That's why cloning stuff is always so stupid. It's just too much information, and your brain as it evolves, it makes all these decisions about how everything fits together. I'm pretty sure I don't know that much about it, but your brain grows in certain ways, and like if you made a clone of you and raised it, and then you probably did a bunch of MRI mapping of the brain, I'm sure the brains would be quite a bit different.
Yeah.
I would guess.
Agreed. Okay.
I would guess.
So then this movie makes perfect sense. What are you complaining about?
Well,
they have to mind map in order to get the clones to be exactly like they were before. This is perfect. These are just stepping stones. This is great storytelling.
The problem with it is that they grow an adult human female who I guess is 30, 32 years old, I would guess. 32 years?
I think she's a little bit older than that.
30, 35 years old, whatever. They grow a 35-year-old in 17 days. That's insane. The idea that you could grow a thing in 17 days that takes 35 years to grow, that's insane.
Okay, so that part is, I don't know what's crazy and what's not in this movie anymore because you're blowing my mind.
Beyond crazy.
Now, is it weird that he's able to adjust the algorithm to make them all different ages in the exact same amount of time? Because that part blew my mind.
Well, I mean, you're dealing with something that can't, the math of any of this can't work. And so saying a line like, okay, I'm going to make it so that the 12-year-old it comes out of the tank at the same time as the 35-year-old. Sure, why not? I mean, yeah.
But
whatever.
I love it because it was just an afterthought. Keanu, they're staring at the tubes, and he's like, "Are they all going to come out at the same time?" And Beetlejuice is like, "Oh, why didn't you tell me that before? Or now I have to change my algorithm on the fly right now." And done. I did it. Oh, I can't believe he asked me to do that. He does it so quickly.
He does it so quickly, but also we're like, oh, okay, so, this is your classic science fiction setup. He's like, well, let me change the algorithm. I have to do it on the fly. Well, it has to go wrong. Science fiction, science fiction, all the science fiction just goes right all the time.
100%. This is the best sci-fi ever. They do everything exactly right and nothing goes wrong. It's unbelievable.
Because then we get the other thing. He's like, you got to stay home here and watch the pods for 17 days and make sure that the power never goes out. And if the power goes out, that's going to be a big problem. The power never goes out. The power has to go out. The power has to go out.
There's not even a flicker. There's not even like a light flicker. And he's like, oh shit, is my power going out? Nope, everything's fine. This guy's got great power.
Now, Tony.
Unbelievable.
Why does he steal all the batteries out of the cars in the neighborhood?
Because he doesn't have a generator, so his backup option is running off of all of the car batteries.
How does he do that?
You're worried about that? Dan, did you hear all the stuff we've already done? Here's my question about the situation. Why would you steal every battery but your own battery?
You get that one first. That would be the first one you grab.
100%. It's right outside my garage. That's 2 seconds. I got a battery. Boom, I'm done. When the police come and they're like, sir, someone came and stole all the batteries out of all of the cars in your neighborhood. Did they hit you? No, they didn't hit me. Cuff them, because this guy did it. That's ridiculous. He's the only one that doesn't have one stolen, and they just are like, oh, weird. I guess you're lucky. See you later, sir.
But see, it's literally absurd. The idea that you could steal batteries out of even one car.
Sure.
Like, what? People lock their cars, so you're going to break the window of every car. Cars are going to be alarmed, and then getting a battery out of a car and then toting it back to your house. This is so much work, and it would make so much noise.
He probably had a wagon. You see, he put him in a wagon, little red wagon, dragged it down the street.
Because that's not going to make any noise. A wagon with 17 car batteries piled up in it. It is silent. Oh, my God. Okay, so we're a little ahead of ourselves.
I know. Sorry, we were starting to jump all over. It's just too fun.
We've only got 3 cloning pods, and he gets pissed off. He's pissed off. He's like, bah, 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 bah. Why do you only have 3? Bah, 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 bah. And the dude's just does that? He says a funny line, and
middle ditch.
Oh, I can't sneeze out another. That's what he says. I can't sneeze out another. I'm sneezing it out, but it's just like, it's like, here, Tony. Here's $10,000. $10,000. I need $25,000. You're a giant asshole for not giving me as much as I need.
First of all, Dan, that's a terrible, terrible comparison because I would totally do that. Fuck, 10,000 is nothing in 2023, Dan. How dare you undervalue me like that? You son of a bitch!
And now do you want to talk about who gets to be potted?
Yeah, 100%. So he gets upset because there's only 3 pods, but he's got 4 family members. Now you think to yourself, oh shit, okay, now we've got like a Sophie's Choice moment coming, and it's gonna have repercussions throughout the rest of the movie. Don't worry about that, it doesn't matter at all. But he literally goes to the kitchen. He writes everyone's name down on a piece of paper, throws it into a bowl like a fucking improv game, and just picks a name out of the bowl. He's like, well, this bitch is dead.
You missed it, Tony.
He makes middle ditch do it.
He says no, you got it all wrong. This is what makes this movie so crazy. He goes to middle ditch and he's like, you gotta pick. And he's like, I gotta pick which of your family members is going to die. And he's like, yep, I can't do it. It's too hard. You're doing it. And Mildred is just like, no, time out, bro. I'm her, peace out. I'm gone. You're picking. Get bit.
Get bit.
So we cut to the next scene. He's sitting there, and we don't have him pull it out. We just see the name Zoe on the piece of paper. And Zoe, the youngest daughter, the daughter that he has the most connection with, is the one that must die.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on a second. This is not how this goes down. You pull out Zoe's name. You know what you do? You throw Zoe's name back in, and you pull it out again. You throw it in again, and then you lose your mind, and then you keep picking until you find the one you want to kill. He has to pick till he finds the one 100%. He wants to kill.
And that's because it has to be a moral decision here. Everything is just like, I don't want to deal with it, so I'm just going to not deal with it. And then, it's fine. Everything's fine. We don't deal with anything. He needs to see that name and be like, I cannot kill her. She has to come back. And then he picks a different one. He's like, all right, fuck it. This one's dead.
Yep. He has to, there's like this new commercial where like they're talking about it's like a family, and there's like they have to cut someone off of the pig, and they go around. Eventually, the dad he votes himself off the island
because he's the one doing it. He's like, well, it can't be mom because she's very successful. It can't be you because you're 2. Can't be you because you get good grades. I guess it's me. It's a very funny commercial.
It's a funny commercial because it's real. Because we all
100%.
We all understand that this thing's just like we've set up this great conundrum. Nope, we haven't. Forget it. We're moving on.
I don't know why I wrote that last scene. How do I get out of this as quickly as possible?
Oh, that's 1 page. We went through 1 page.
How many pages you got?
3.5.
Oh, we're in trouble. This could be a 4-hour epic, everybody.
Okay, so the other thing he does is that he is able to go through each of their brains and delete Zoe from their brains.
We got to talk about this, Dan. This is out of all of the things that they do in this movie, this is the most ludicrous. Yeah. Because memories are so intertwined. It's not like there's a file path that's like, delete everything that has Zoe in it and run my algorithm here. No, everything reminds you of something. Everything, even if they're not there, you're like, oh, Zoe would love that. How do you get rid of all of those things so specific that you don't change the person's personality whatsoever?
You do it in VR. I mean, because everything can be done in VR.
Everything in VR makes it easier. You would be changing every single one of their personalities to an astronomical degree that you wouldn't even be able to predict. I would see that. Let's see the fallout of him erasing memories. Nope. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it.
No. Then it turns out that he has to go back to work. Then Middleditch has to come back and do the pods, which doesn't really mean anything. Goes back to work. Everybody bugs with him. And he's back at home. And then one of the kid's teachers comes and is like, where's the kid? And he's all like, there somewhere. And he just like gets rid of her. And it's not even an issue.
Because Middleditch told her a lie that the kid got sick and is spending time with his grandparents. And then Keanu is like, why would you tell him that? His grandparents are dead. And then we never deal with that again. It doesn't make any sense. Why set that up if nobody's going to deal with it?
It's like the ultimate comedy that sets up all these things and then never pays any of them off.
Just like, totally forgets that it did.
Don't worry about it.
So bizarre.
Okay, let's see. So then William spends some time faking everybody's lives, breaking up with the boyfriend that the daughter has.
It's a little creepy. Can we just talk about that?
It's super weird, and I couldn't pay attention during this part because I'm just like, why are we even doing this? Who cares?
We should not be doing it because out of all of the things that you've set up, this is the one thing you want to try to make sure makes sense. Come on, pick the right battles, guys. Nobody cares about this stuff right now. But I think now answer me this, Dan.
Yeah.
What if we put Nicolas Cage in this movie? All right. And instead of being like cool, calm, and collected Keanu, it's Nicolas Cage slowly losing his fucking mind trying to figure out how to cover all this. I think that's a pretty entertaining film. And he's over here talking to these kids. He's like, what the fuck's going on? What am I going to? Oh, God. I would watch that movie. I would that movie. I think that would be fun.
It would be a movie. This isn't a movie. This is like a skeletal, plot of a thing. Oh, well, this could happen. Then this would happen. Then this would happen. And then Keanu's just like, I took care of it.
And I'm not bagging on Keanu at all right now. This is not, I don't put the onus on him. He's great. I love him to death. Yeah. This is not a movie that makes sense.
I don't think they put it on the page, the writers.
No. God, no.
So, boom, they come 17 days, they come out of the thing. And then he's all like, well, but you haven't figured out how to get the brains into the bodies. And he's all like, let me induce a coma. So they're out for 3 more days. So we bought another 3 days, which is like, okay. Why didn't
Do they think that this adds drama to it? Where they're like, oh, shit, we got to pull him right now. What are you going to do? You haven't figured out how to, what are you going to do? I'll just sedate him. It's fine. Don't worry. Don't panic, Thomas Middleditch. It's fine. I'm going to sedate him. It's so weird. There's no reason to do this. It doesn't add dramatic tension. It doesn't make it more interesting. It just delays even further till we get to the real movie, quote unquote.
Yep. So it's finally time. He's like, he does a lot of thinking, and then he finally figures out that the problem was that when you put the mind into the robot, it wasn't their body. So if you're putting them into their body, then it's okay. Right? Isn't that what he figures out?
That's only half of what he figures out. He also figures out if you can write an algorithm to make the robot brain think that it's inside of a real body, then it will accept that body.
Oh, so he solved both. So he realizes
both problems simultaneously.
He realizes the one problem isn't a problem. The robot problem he solves. Okay, so he doesn't really solve it. He solves the robot problem. Okay.
Now, Dan, was there a brief moment, because there was a good 2 minutes of this movie where I thought the answer was love. When he touches her arm and her heart starts like beating her brain, whatever is that monitor, is it the brain activity that's being monitored maybe? Yeah. Whatever it is, I was like, oh, is the secret ingredient love? Is that what this movie's about? I kind of was hopeful.
So like he has to have sex with her while the transfer's happening.
I mean, listen, if that's what's got to happen, that's what's got to happen. Give it a shot, Keanu.
Then he has to have sex with his daughter. Then he makes Middleditch have sex with his daughter. Then he has to hire like a Puerto Rican prostitute to have sex with her.
I don't know. Why are they Puerto Rican?
Because they're in Puerto Rico.
Oh, because they're in Puerto Rico. All right, I got it.
I mean, I guess you could fly in a prostitute on the helicopter from the mainland.
I just thought for sure, because I don't know if you remember this, Dan, but when they take her out of the pots, they take Alice Eve. The only one you see come out of the pot is Alice Eve, because obviously you're not going to show children naked, right? But Alice Eve, we're gonna take a peek. Thomas Middleditch is so creepy in that scene. He's like, they take her out and they're holding, he says something about her being beautiful. I don't remember what it was. And I was like, this guy's going to go make a ton of clones and just have sex with them.
Laying around brain dead in his apartment. Why did you have these why did you take these home? I'm just doing an experiment.
Don't worry about it, boss. I'm figuring stuff out. It's all science.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so boom. Let's see what's happening.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, boom. So then they do Mona, and first she's like, "Oh, that's the wife, Mona. Her name is Mona."
Hey, Mona, you did it. That's a terrible name. That's why we didn't remember it.
It's terrible.
Not sorry if anyone out there is named Mona. That was rude.
So boom, boom, boom. They've done the transfer. They're like, she's rejecting it. She's rejecting it, and then she goes, "Oh, I'm awake." I'm like, "Hey."
Well, it's just a very gentle shake. It's not even a seizure. Not that I want her to have a seizure. I'm just saying, like, it's just kind of a gentle. How would that be her rejecting a brain, first of all? The other guy ripped his own face off. I would see that. If Keanu had to watch his wife, who he killed, then brought back to life, tear her own face off, that's intense.
I don't know, man.
Nah, but she's fine. Don't worry about it.
So then he, of course, immediately sedates her, because he's got to sedate everybody because this is the creepiest movie ever.
Well, he's got to clean the house.
Got to clean the house.
That's what it's like, those movies where the kids have a party when the parents are away. And he's like, I got to clean up before they see the house. Oh, no. Dan, let me ask you a question about clones, okay? Since you seem so knowledgeable about clones.
There's nothing special. Clones is nothing special.
We grew
it's not something special.
Hold on. We grew a full-size woman in 17 days in a bottle, right? Yeah, and she comes out. What is her muscle mass like?
Zero.
Okay, great. That's what I was like. She's got to be a noodle.
Yeah,
right? She's got to learn how to do all that. All right.
Like my mom had like knee replacement surgery, and they had to like put her on this machine that was like, meh, 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 meh. And that's what they do to you. Like if you're in a coma and shit, don't they do shit like that to you? I think so.
Well, yeah, they got to keep your body active, otherwise it dies, right? I don't know.
It just dies. No, yeah.
It just dies. 4 to 6 hours, it dies.
You have to, muscles, they're just muscles. They don't work. You gotta work your muscles.
Okay, see, that was where I was at when this was happening. I was like, how is she going to just, and then she runs. Day one, she goes for a run. I was like, well, how is she doing this? This is unbelievable.
Just like if you'd been on bed, just think about if you were on bed rest for 17 days. Or 20 days.
Dude, I had arthroscopic knee surgery 3 times, which is embarrassing.
Why didn't you should have gotten it right the first time, Tony.
No, the 3 different injuries. One of them's a surfing injury. It's a pretty great story. I wasn't surfing. I was taking pictures of my brother surfing, and I was in the ocean, and a wave hit me, and I got tossed, and then I couldn't get out of the ocean. My brother had a fireman carry me out of the beach. It was intense. So I tell people it's a surfing accident to make it sound cooler, but I was just standing in the ocean.
So anyhow, that's called an ocean accident.
No, it's called a surfing accident because I'm a cool bro.
Okay. So you were laid up.
And that is like 3 to 4 days tops. Yeah, it's quick recovery. And I was walking, but I'm in physical therapy for 2 months.
Oh, really?
Like just working on it because it's like it's not the same. And it was laid up for 3 to 4 days, and I'm like, I have to go in and do some shit work now for months just to get it back to what it was. This is ridiculous.
I got nothing for you. So boom, he has to get the house ready, and then I wrote he threw away Zoe. Does he throw away because he still has Zoe on a hard drive, right, or something?
Well, he throws away all her stuff.
Oh, he throws away all her stuff. No, he didn't throw away the hard drive.
He can't throw away the hard drive because, later.
He takes all of her stuff and, like, throws it in the trash can. And you're just like, okay.
Now, Dan, we kind of skipped over the talk that I wanted to have, which is Thomas Middleditch keeps telling Keanu that they only have one shot at this.
Yeah. No.
Why do they only have one shot at this? Why don't they have enough genetic material to do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again?
Because the program is shutting down and they won't have access to the materials.
So you think that's why it is?
I mean, I have to assume that's why it is.
All right, I just thought it was weird that he keeps being like, we only got one shot, it has to work. And I was like, why don't you just have a bunch of genetic material in your fridge and then you can try it 1,000,000 times?
Yeah, well, they're not going to have access to this material because the program is shutting down and they're going to be locked out forever.
And think about this, Dan. What if you make 4 Alice Eves?
Just keep on cooking
Monas. You just keep on cooking them, but each time you alter their brain, because he seems to be able to do that no problem.
He can do anything.
And you can be like, oh, we're 4 twins that are all married to the same guy. Look at that. Now that's a movie I want to see.
Hold on. 4 twins?
Uh-huh. Quadruplets? Right?
Quadruplets.
We're 4 twins. We're 4 sets of identical twins. So there's 8 of them. Now there's 8 Alice Eves. They all think they're 4 twins. It's great. He could have a lot of fun if he can just remap people's brains all the time.
This seems like a Wayans Brothers movie. So the next morning, they all wake up. Everybody's fine, except the kids are like ravenously hungry. Didn't you think that was going somewhere? And they the one kid seemed to eat off the side of the plate. There was a whole kind of weird thing with that where he
and later he misses his plate when he's putting mashed potatoes. He puts it in his milk, and Alice and the mom Mona's like, "Oh, you missed your plate." And he goes, "What?" And then we never deal with that again And then when she goes on her run, when the kids are eating nonstop, she goes on a run, and at the end of the run, she stops because she's having pain in her chest. Never deal with that again. I thought for sure when they woke up, things were going to go awry pretty quickly because there were signs that point to it. And then we just move right along.
William has to go back into the clinic because they got a new one coming in. The dude comes in and then he's all looking at the thing and he's like, well, we can't do this one. And then Middleditch is like, why can't we do this one in secret? And he's all like, because I've grown I have a conscience now.
Yeah, when did he do that? When he regrew his fucking family that he murdered? That doesn't make any sense.
Shouldn't he just say, let's get his cortex and then let's make a clone and then let's make this guy back again? In 17 days?
Guess what? We know exactly how to make why are we still trying to make this robot thing happen? We can make a perfect clone of him with his own brain, and we can just keep remaking him over and over. This guy can live forever.
Shouldn't it? I mean, here's what you should have done. He should have said, okay, I've got an idea. Bring me those cloning tanks that I just snuck in the back because, I'm going to clone this guy, then I'm going to do this, and then in 17 days we're going to da-da-da-da-da, and this is going to buy us time for the project where we're going to, would have been a whole buy us time, and the boss would have been like, good job, wow, you're so brilliant, what a guy. But instead the boss is like, you're just sucker.
Nah, I don't want to do it.
You suck again.
You're a real piece of shit over here.
So what is his real solution now?
His real solution is to then use himself, which I don't even understand, Dan.
And how and where does he do this, Tony?
Just in the bathroom. Just in the sanitary stall of the multi-use bathroom.
I think it's unsanitary.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say sanitary? You're right. I meant unsanitary, free-use bathroom.
And what is he going to do?
When is he going to do
it?
No,
what is he going to do?
Oh, I was like, because he's just taking a 10-2 and he's going to do it at the same time. It's going 2-2. Just right away. He's going to do it right now when his boss is in the bathroom with him.
But what physically happens to him?
Nothing. Oh, well, so he puts on the helmet with the needle in the eye, and he's like, oh, boy, this is going to hurt. So then he grabs the dirty handrail that everybody uses to get up when they're done pooping, and then he just kind of braces himself. He doesn't even hold his eye open, which I have a problem with, because, again, my eye, just for eye drops, I have to do this. If I was putting a needle into my eye, you would need to, clamp these open and make sure my head is so squished that it would never move. So it shoots into his eye.
Yeah.
A needle, he's totally awake. A needle shoots into his eye and he somehow is so still that it doesn't destroy his eye.
Yes.
If that was me, Dan, my eye would be a gelatin right now, because that would go in and I'd be like, oh no, and it would just tear it to shreds. But he's fine. Yeah, he's
fine.
Totally fine.
He's got a gigantic, 16th inch needle.
Enough to go into the brain, right? Like, it's deep.
And
it is deep in
that
there.
That is plunged through his, what is it, the cornea? Like
it's straight in the cornea.
Which, if someone, no, it does no damage to him.
The amount of pain, one, would again make him move, but two, that has to ruin your eye, right? Like, there's not just like a pathway in the eye that you can get all the way back to the brain and not damage a single thing.
I don't know.
That's
no, your cornea is in the way. It's a thing. It's a thing. You can't poke a hole through a cornea. You can't. Your eye's not going to work anymore.
Listen, if we have any ophthalmologists in the chat right now, somebody tell us if there is a hole you can get from the start of your eye to your brain and not damage anything.
I thought he was going to come out of there and have like a patch on his eye and be like,
"Oh no, it's just a trickle of blood." And then Thomas Middleditch just is like, casually, hey, are you bleeding through your eye? Or wait, what is it? Are you crying blood?
The boss, I think, says that.
Oh, is that who does it? Somebody does it. I don't know. No one's concerned that he's crying blood out of his eyeball. He's walking around like nothing happened, and he sees just fine. So, mission accomplished, I would say.
Boom. So his plan is that he's going to upload himself into the robot to prove that the thing works. Okay.
Well, because he can write the algorithm to see his body.
Yeah.
Because he knows his body.
He's figured out an algorithm.
Anybody else wouldn't be able to write it because they don't know his body, you see.
Except his wife.
You better believe it.
Boom. They get home. He gets home. Mom's like, I'm missing memories. And he's like, you're just sick. Go to bed. And then they're like, the kids are all dreaming about me dying. And he's all like, well, now I'm going to tell you the truth. You died and I brought you back. You're just a big replica.
She only asked twice, and he spilt all the beans. Let me be very clear with you, Dan. These people can never know that they are replicas. They can never, ever know the truth.
Why?
Because she doesn't believe that you can bring it back with a soul. This moment should be the catalyst of her just fucking losing her mind and going crazy, because she is not a real person, and now she knows it. There should be some sort of existential crisis happening, but instead she's like, okay, well, I mean, I'm here, so it's fine.
And then she's like, I'm dead. And she's like, you're you. And then they're like, no one has to know. And then she's like, how could you do this? And then it almost looked like he got angry. And then she holds his hand because he was angry that he did that
Dan,
to her.
Listen.
He's angry because he played God and she's not accepting him as God.
She is an ungrateful piece of shit. Okay, do you know the work that I went through to bring you back to life, and you're not grateful? You should be worshiping me right now. I would feel the same way.
They have dinner. Maybe we should move home. And then the kids are like, "Who's Zoe? There was this Zoe picture in my closet. Who's Zoe? Zoe." Then his boss shows up, and you're like, what does the boss say when he walks in?
I honestly don't remember.
Is that
because I was too busy laughing at this last scene because I knew we weren't going to deal with it. The kids have figured out there's a Zoe, and instead of dealing with it, we just move on to the next problem.
He walks in and he says, "Is that lamb I smell?" Hold on a second.
And was it?
You can walk into a house and know what cooking lamb smells like?
Oh, yeah. I've had a lot of gyros in my day, Dad, and I could smell lamb from a mile. All right? If you're cooking up a little rack of lamb, I'm coming over.
So the boss goes like, I know everything. And he's like, you got to get me the algorithm, and then I'm going to kill your family.
Yeah.
And that's it. Just give me the algorithm and I'm killing your family. You got this one last night, so enjoy what you've got because I'm killing them.
I mean, so there's a line here that I enjoyed, which was my gift to you is your chance to say goodbye, which you didn't get last time. I thought that was a nice line.
If it was going to lead anywhere, sure.
If it was going to lead anywhere, sure.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Let me ask you a question, Dan. So you want something from me.
Yes.
Now, is the way to get me to do it, is that to kill my family either way? Because he's not like, give it to me or I'm going to kill your family. He says, give it to me and I'm going to kill your family. I have no incentive to give it to you. None whatsoever. Now, if you were playing a trick on me and you were like, if you give it to me, I'll let them go. Otherwise, I have to kill them. I'm like, sure, here you go. And then you pop them in the heads and I'm like, you lied. And you're like, I'm the bad guy. That all makes sense. But to straight up tell me, give it to me, and I'm also going to kill them, I'm not giving it to you. Never, never, ever, ever.
I'm nefarious. He's supposed to be nefarious. If you're nefarious, you don't tell anybody. Why does he have to tell him his plan? He's just like,
he's just telling me your whole plan right now.
This is what he says. This is what he's supposed to say. I know you did this with your family. I get it. That's fine. I just need the algorithm. That's what he says.
And then the second that I give you the algorithm, because I will give it to you in that situation, you're like, I'm sorry, they are loose ends and I can't have them alive. And then I'm like, no! And then we can chase.
I'm sorry. You got to do that. You got to do the I'm sorry. Right. Sorry, bro.
It doesn't make any sense to just give it up on a platter, tell you your whole plan. I'm not giving you shit.
You're out of luck, and I'm in complete control, even though I am not in complete control.
Right, even though you have the information that I need, fuck you. So stupid, so dumb.
I'm going to antagonize you before I have what I want. No.
No, I need to placate you until I get it. And I'm like, fooled you.
You know, you're going to be able to stay here with your family. It's going to all be cool. But you got to
just need the algorithm.
Just need the algorithm. And then he figures something out. He's like, then Keanu can actually maybe be smart at some point.
Smart? Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
As opposed to, I'm going to tell you everything. Everybody always has to tell everybody everything, and then there's no reaction. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
So he goes.
I really like this movie, man. I'm having a great time.
He's like, let me go get the algorithm. So he takes the algorithm and puts it in the microwave with some foil on it, because that's going to take care of it.
I don't know. Maybe it does.
Maybe it does.
You're not supposed to put foil in the microwave. I know that.
You know, just throw it in the fire. Just do something that's not super dumb.
Melt it. Yeah, that'll do it.
So he has a drug thing, and he goes in there and he jabs the boss with the drug. What does the drug do?
Nothing. It does. He wakes up maybe 6 minutes later. Is it not the same drug he gives his wife and kids to sedate them?
I would assume so. I assume it's the same.
Why does he have a less powerful version of the same drug? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, Dan. Nope. He should be out for 3 days on that stoop.
Yep.
Okay, but before this, Keanu runs back in. When he goes to get the algorithm, he pulls Mona into the kitchen, and the kids are like, Mommy, Daddy, are you getting a divorce? And he says no, and she says maybe. Do you remember this?
She does say maybe. That's funny.
And then nothing. We don't. No. That never happens again. No. She's not even mad at him. I don't even know why she said that at this point. I just got a real good kick out of that. Very good stuff.
Then he runs back in there, and then he confesses to Mona that he killed Zoe, her other kid, and she's completely unaffected.
She's like, okay, but what else should we do? Do we have to leave? Let's go.
We got to run away. So they drive away. And then they drive away.
If I told you not, because here's the thing: if you kill her, it happens, right? But not only did you kill her, but I took away all of your memories of your child.
That's worse. That's
so much worse. It's
so
infinitely worse. And then it's fine.
I mean, truthfully, you know, if you did that to me, I'd be like, well, you know, we can make another kid, whatever. But I'd be like, you raped my mind to try
exactly.
to do for what reason? So that
for no reason.
No, it's like, I don't understand.
Sick shit.
You know, in addition to everything, it's like, if you had a kid in school and that kid no longer in school, and the kid has disappeared. There's this firestorm of shit that's going to come down on you for not having that child exist anymore.
There's no way for you to get around that.
No.
Like, you just have to say they died. That's the only explanation to that, because someone's going to notice you have a missing child, and they're going to ask the people who you've now erased that child from the memories and be like, "Where's your other daughter?" And you're like, "What other daughter? I don't have another daughter." Like, yes, you do. You have another. I have a picture of you on my phone with your other daughter. Trouble.
And those are the two linchpins to drama and comedy, right? As things fall apart in drama, they continue to fall apart, and the person goes into darkness until they can maybe come out of the other side somehow. In comedy, it gets funnier and funnier as things get stupider and stupider, because you've made this bad. You make a bad choice, you have to suffer for it. We have to see. You have to deal
with it. Yeah, you need the consequences. That's what makes it fun.
That's what either makes it funny or thrilling, or exciting, or hard. And makes you think about things. This movie's like, I've chosen nothing.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So the bad guys, they drive away for a half an hour. Then the bad guys catch up to them easily and ram into them.
Easily, immediately.
Then they find out that they have trackers in them. So they go to the hospital and they all have to use a defibrillator to bust the trackers.
Luckily, Alice, Mona absolutely knew 100% how to get rid of it immediately. She's like, wait, we've got trackers inside of us? Go to my clinic. I know how to fix it.
She knows.
She knows everything, man. And not that it matters, because everyone was already there anyhow.
And they escape. They go to the marina. They're going to take Middleditch's boat. He climbs there, goes to the boat, tries to find the keys while the kids are waiting in the car. And then the bad guys come and just take the family away.
If you're being chased by somebody,
leave them in the car.
Maybe just leave them in the only place they know that they were.
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense. Bring them to the boat.
No.
Maybe they don't know about the boat. I mean, they do know about the boat, but you don't know that. You leave them in the one place that I know that I can find them in.
Oh, my God. Okay. So now we go back to the lab. The bad guys have the family.
Yeah.
Middleditch is there. The boss is there. Bad guys with the guns. Middleditch finked on him. Sorry, I had to do it. And I didn't get rid of the bodies. So I think the boss has known the whole time.
It seems like he's known the entire time. Yeah. I didn't totally understand the twist, but
whatever.
At this point, logic is out the window, so it's a free for all.
And so the boss has to show his power, so he shoots Middleditch in the head.
Now, here's a question, though, right? Because technically, Ed was the one that knew how to do the cloning, right?
I'm assuming everyone in the world knows how to do cloning. Well, actually, I could do cloning, so that's nothing special.
You keep saying that. I think cloning's harder than you're giving it credit
for.
Okay?
Not hard at all.
This is super simple. It's like one of those science kits for kids. You just get it. They could do cloning. Yeah, no big deal.
I think there's probably hundreds of labs in the country that could do cloning instantaneously. And probably do it all the time. Okay.
Tony, I think I'm stuck in like 2003 or something, because this cloning stuff's really blowing my mind right now.
I bet you. Here, let's this. Okay. Scientists produce genetically engineered cloned pigs for xenotransplantation. 2 groups of scientists have produced genetically engineered cloned pigs whose tissue may be suitable for transplanting into humans.
Wait, what?
Both teams have reported having bred pigs that lack the gene that causes rejection.
Okay, so like if you need a skin graft, I guess you get pig skin.
You're gonna be getting pig skin. You're gonna be getting pig skin. Pig skin.
I don't know how I feel about that.
You're gonna be pig skin. Well, the thing about it is, if say you have a big burn here, right, and they put a piece of pig skin. Yeah. This is, I don't know if this is what's happening now, but this probably will happen in the future. They put the piece of pig skin in there. They glue it on. They Scotch guard it. So it's not weatherproof. Scotch guarded. Well, the thing about it is, your whole body your skin cells, they cycle through. Cycle.
Sure.
So the pig skin, you're not going to be pig, after like 6 months. All pigs are going to be gone.
Yeah, but for 6 months, I'm going to call you Pig Boy. Okay. I'm going to call you my little piglet.
It's hurtful, Tony. Very hurtful.
I'm sorry, everybody. That's rude.
We are recording, aren't we? Yeah, we're recording.
Oh my God, Dan! Why would you say that? I just had a heart attack.
I'm not getting the little levels of the talking.
Oh God, we're in trouble.
Okay, so the boss. So he's like, okay, don't shoot my family. I'll give you the algorithm. So then he starts doing VR. Transfers his mind into the robot. The robot comes in there, kills all the guards, kills the boss, but almost kills the boss. And then he says to the boss, okay, this robot's going to anally penetrate you. No, he doesn't say that. He says, I'm going to grow you a new body if you obey me. And the boss is like, yes, I will obey you.
I don't get it. Why would he?
I don't know.
I would say, I'm like, again, being a nefarious individual, wouldn't you say yes to get new life and then be like, guess what, fucker? I was lying. I'm going to kill you now. It doesn't make any sense. But let's talk about now the new William, the robot. Yeah. Will.i.am over here.
Yeah.
He thinks he's Bill, yeah. William.
He's good with it.
That is his family.
Okay, wait, hold on. Time out. We're going to do the time out. If you did that to yourself, if there was real Tony and robot Tony, would robot Tony want to kill real Tony? Would you guys
100%. 1,000,000,000,000,000,000,000%. Because there can't be two of us. Because here's the thing. He gets left behind, Dan. He has to go work in this other. So I make a clone of myself, right? And one of me gets to go live on a beach with Alice Eve and my family, and the other one has to go to work. Yeah, I'm gonna murder the beach one and take his place because I'm going to the beach, baby. I'm not gonna go to work every day. Now this unstoppable killing machine robot that just murdered everybody is 100% gonna tear Keanu apart. Without a doubt, in my mind. He needs to power this thing down. He needs to kill himself at the end.
No. See, if Dan Goodsell makes Dan Goodsell robot, we're best friends.
And you're going to make more and more Dan Goodsells. I know. You're a very scary individual.
This is hate watching with Dan and Robo-Dan.
No, Dan, no. I refuse. Because listen, this robot is going to live forever, ostensibly, right? He doesn't age. So he'll never get to be with the family that he brought back. He loves his family so much that he brought them back to life.
He just cooks he cooks up another family.
Just cooks some more. Now that's an ending I would have been okay with. If all of a sudden there was a robot family at the end, I'm in. But this guy's just a robot doing the bidding. He's just making other AI. No, this guy's going to go crazy and he's going to kill everybody.
So basically they bring the boss back and then we see that he's retired. Real William and his family have retired to the beach and they've made a Zoe because, of course,
that's right.
Of course, you got to make a Zoe.
Because there are no ramifications whatsoever in this movie. They get their whole family. And all these people that don't remember Zoe are like, yay, Zoe's here.
Oh, yeah, they don't remember. Nope. You've deleted all their memories. Like, the mom's even like, who is this?
Who is this child that you brought with you?
And then the final scene is Robot William and Evil Boss are now in Saudi Arabia taking super rich, horrible Saudi Arabians and killing their bodies off and making them new clone bodies and and putting their minds in there.
Just making evil people live forever. William would not do this. That is not something and he is an unstoppable killing robot.
There's your question. Wouldn't he? Maybe that's exactly who he is.
I think he should be, but I don't think that Keanu is.
No.
Now, if this was Nicolas Cage in his final descent into madness, this guy's an evil scientist, right? Yeah. He's gone crazy with power. Keanu's a good guy. Robot Keanu wouldn't do this.
And it has to be that Robot Keanu is like, the boss is like, the only way that you can survive on that beach with your family is if you were, you work for us. And he's just like,
sure.
The robot Keanu's like, I'm sacrificing for my family so that I know my fleshy family can still be alive. And then then we see Robot Keanu walk over to the tank, and there's like a label on there, and it says Zoe, and he's like, my precious,
creating
you will live
family
again. Or he gets to keep that one. He's like, I'm making you for me. You will be my little Zoe, and you will never know of them. And then he edits out the wife and the other kids, and it's just his Zoe, my Zoe.
Great.
You must live.
Something should happen. Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
It's the most amoral movie I've ever seen. I don't think I can think of another movie that has it as an amoral ending as this movie. It was just like so weird.
But there are so many opportunities to do it in this movie. That's my biggest problem. You set up constantly a moral problem, moral problem. And you're just like, I'm not going to deal with any of those. Don't worry about it. This is a happy ending.
It's like the most not happy ending. It's the most horrible, like, oh, these people are terrible. He's just as bad as them.
Awful people. Yep, he's a bad guy, turns out.
So this is a weird movie.
I had a blast. If you get a chance to watch this movie, I would recommend it. It's not good, boy, it's funny. It's entertaining. I watched it on the plane, and I think the person next to me thought I was watching a comedy because I was laughing a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely confusing. You don't understand. You're like, okay, I suppose this could happen.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful stuff, everybody. You're going to love it, I promise.
So, Tony, you spent the week in San Francisco filming or something, but you didn't have a chance for any media? There must have been something. You must have gone to some great restaurants when you're up there. I remember you go to the bars, and there'd be like these big blue drinks that you'd get, and they'd be like $26, and there'd be all these young tech kids drinking these drinks. What did you feast upon or drink upon or do while you were in San Francisco? Rice-A-Roni. Did you have a lot of Rice-A-Roni?
I did. I went to a place called the E&O Kitchen. It was right down the street from my hotel. I went there every night. I ate at the same restaurant every night. They had these spicy deviled eggs, and they were insane. They were so good. So that's great. Thanks, Dan. I wasn't going to bring that up, but go to the E&O Kitchen, E&O Kitchen in San Francisco if you get a chance. One thing we did watch last week, because it's Christmas season, we watched one of the Hallmark Channel originals called A Biltmore Christmas. It's kind of like a Kate and Leopold type time travel rom-com, and it's got Bethany Joy Lenz in it from One Tree Hill fame. It was real cute. You should watch it.
We said a lot of words. I didn't understand any of those words. We're watching this sitcom called Fisk, which is Australian.
Australia.
Just a wonderfully good true sitcom that I was just, Shannon had watched the first season. She's like, the second season. We started watching it, and I watched the first episode, and I was just like, holy crap, someone can still make a real sitcom with a pile of quirky characters, and just like, it's wonderful. I loved it. And I also...
All right, I'm in. You just sold me.
And I also started watching a show that you should watch, Tony, but you're never going to watch. Scavenger's Reign on Max.
And Scavenger's Reign.
It's animated science fiction. It has been referred to as ASMR science fiction.
What's that? What does that mean?
You know what ASMR is.
I mean, I know what it is, but I'm not going to watch a TV show that is that for 30 minutes.
Most importantly, you should watch the first episode, because it'd be very funny. Okay. It's because this show is kind of like the stepchild of Fantastic Planet. Remember with the Bluebees and all that?
Oh, for fuck's sake! Oh, the Bluebees! I did love the Bluebees, but nothing else.
This show it's kind of like that. It's like they're trapped on this planet, and it's just this ecological weirdness. Just everything is infecting you, or plunging stuff into you, or doing things in your brain. It's just insane.
So it's an actual planet that's evolved to kill you, and not one of the ones where they say it is and then it's not?
I mean, it just everything is weird. Everything you just like. It's
okay.
It's super fun.
I'll watch one episode, Dan.
They're only 30.
And then I'll make a decision.
They're like 28 minutes. When you watch the first one, you're just going to be like, "What is happening?"
It must be on streaming. 28 minutes. Jesus, it should be 22 minutes with commercials. Because that's what TV is, Dan. It's 22 minutes commercials.
So, Tony, we need a movie for next week.
We sure do. I forgot the name of the... Nope, I got it. All right, so it's Christmas season. Happy holidays, everybody. I wanted to do a Christmas movie, and I wasn't going to tell you this, but I got to tell you this. The first movie I picked, we already did. And
Santa Claus versus the Martians?
No, but I did love it. It was Santa with muscles. And I told Naomi, I was like,
we've never done that.
Have we never done it? Are you sure?
No,
she's convinced we've done it.
No, we absolutely haven't done it. Todd wanted us to do that a million years ago.
Are you sure? Because I had watched it.
The only Hulk Hogan we ever did was the weird one, whatever that one.
Well, then why did I watch it? Did I just watch it on my own?
Probably.
It's because it's at the end. You know how like it does the progress bar? It's at the end of the progress bar. I got to check because we should watch that if we're gonna watch it.
Okay, well,
we haven't watched it yet.
We'll watch that. We'll watch that the week after this. That's fine. We could do that for Christmas too. But what is the other one you picked?
We haven't watched that, Dan.
No,
that's unbelievable. It's not on our list.
I'm excited. I remember everything, Tony.
You remember everything? All right, I got a list of our episodes. What's episode 30?
That's the good one.
I agree. It's Hook. It's Hook, baby. Oh, bang a ring.
It's a good episode of a terrible movie.
You son of a bitch. I'm gonna kill you.
I hated that movie. Ooh, now we're gonna skateboard through our cool
It was
thing.
Cool. Rufio. Oh! It's cool, Dan. It's cool. You wish you were that cool.
Okay, what movie did you really pick?
Well, yeah, we'll put that later because I thought we'd already... I'm going to give her a piece of my mind, I'll tell you that. So what we're going to do is a brand new Christmas movie. Came out this year, I think last week for us. And it is, of course, the brand new smash comedy hit with Eddie Murphy, Candy Cane Lane.
Oh, okay, that's fun. Yeah. I think it might be okay. I don't know.
You think so? Did you watch the trailer?
I watched the trailer. I thought I liked it.
We watched that trailer. Look, bananagrams. I don't know. So we'll see. I hope it's fun.
I mean, Eddie. I've been enjoying Eddie lately. So I don't know.
What has he done lately?
Well, he did the blaxploitation one. I loved that movie. That movie was super fun.
Sure.
And then whatever his last one was, I really liked. What was it? What was his last one?
Was it the sequel to that one movie?
Yeah, it was the sequel to that one movie. Yeah, that was the one.
Didn't they come out with a sequel to one of his old movies recently?
I don't.
Was it Coming to America?
Oh, they did. Oh, that I can't imagine that would be good.
See, I told you. Coming to America. That was 2 movies ago.
What was the one before that?
Dolomite Is My Name.
That was the one that Dolomite was super fun. What was the one before that?
Mr. Church.
I don't know. Maybe it's just Dolomite. Okay, well, who knows?
Oh, he was in You People with, is that the one with Jonah Hill? Yeah, that's the one with Jonah Hill. No, you didn't see that.
Looked funny.
I agree. I didn't watch it, though.
Okay, so. we're going to Candy Cane Lane. I think it's on Netflix or Amazon or someplace. I've seen the big banner. I almost started it a couple of times.
Well, now you have an excuse.
Now I got to watch it.
You're welcome.
And then we'll do Santa Claus with Muscles, and those will be our 2 Santa Claus movies.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, so that'll be for the 23rd and then the 30th. So those will be our 2 last movies of the year. Yeah.
Oh, boy. I can't believe another year's wrapping up of hate watching.
Wrapping up another year, and then we'll go into the New Year's. I have a movie picked right here that we've needed to do.
Really?
Yeah, we talked about it. It's one we need to do, and so we're going to do it. And it's really bad. It's really bad. Maybe not as bad as Replica. Well, actually, it's worse than Replicas.
Listen, say what you will about Replicas. I had a blast. Well, it was fun.
We got to find some movies that you don't like. So we can't have you having fun at this show, Tony. That's not
you're right. This show's about pain and torture.
So we'll be back next week to talk about Eddie Murphy and Candy Cane Lane. And if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, it's too late, Dan. It's too late.
It's the end of the show. It's the end of the show. That's the end of the show. So we'll see you next week at the movies.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch him. We're dead.